I shared my video on one of the Facebook groups, I don't remember which, but someone had asked me what my lighting setup looks like. So I just want to make a short video to show you how I get the lighting I do, how I avoid casting many shadows, and how I keep the dynamic lighting off of my face, although I do look really tired today. I've had 3 no-shows this morning. It would be awesome if they were major courses, but they were all trials, so that's half pay to make a video. So I will say first and foremost, the biggest thing that affects my lighting is the camera that I use. I do like this. I have a Logitech C920, I think. I'll link it down below. I really like this camera because it helps a lot with my lighting. I didn't really have to change much when I got the camera, but I also had a pretty decent lighting setup beforehand. So this is what my lighting looks like with that camera. I'm going to take you through each step of my lighting so you can see how it changes. Oh, so this is pretty miserable. This is my lighting with just the basement overhead lights on and using my my MacBook Pro's internal camera. Now, my MacBook Pro is a couple of years old. It's like 5 years old. I don't know. We got it my first year working at a law firm. When was that? 2013, maybe? Yeah, so it's almost 5 years old. So it's possible that the newer MacBook Pros have better internal cameras, but this is what my lighting looks like now. For me, it works really well. It helps to hide all of the imperfections in my face. You can barely see that fluoride stain on my teeth. But from a professional standpoint, this does not work out very well. So let's see what happens when I switch cameras with just the overhead light on. All right, so this is also just my basement's overhead lighting with the Logitech camera. Already you can see an improvement. The lighting does look better. I'm a little bit more washed out now, which is one of the drawbacks of using this particular camera, but the lighting has improved. Nothing else has changed, I swear. Like literally 1 second between turning off the last video, switching the camera, and then turning on this one. That's the only thing that's changed. Only thing that's changed is that I switched from my internal camera to my external camera. Now let's play with some lighting. I'm going to go back to my MacBook Pro and then turn on some of the lights that I have. Okay, so I am back on my internal camera. I have studio lighting that my husband bought when we decided we were going to start taking our own professional pictures of our kids, which we just never did. So I should have taken those out of my taxes from last year, but I didn't because this is literally all I use them for. So this is my internal camera, and I'm going to go turn on my studio lights. When I switch cameras, I'll turn it around so you can see how I actually have them set up. This right here is the setup that I used for the majority of the last year. I didn't have an external camera. Right now, this is the MacBook Pro's internal camera and my fancy studio lighting that I'll show you in a second. Big improvement over the overhead lighting. You can see it's gotten rid of some of the shadows. I also have some overhead string lights that I have set up in the basement, and I'm going to actually find out with you whether they help with my lighting or not. I like them because it makes my basement look less dreary when I'm sitting in it. Just having the studio lights blaring in my face is it's kind of intimidating. It's like I'm being interrogated for 3 hours in the morning when I'm teaching little kids. So I'm going to go turn those overhead lights on and see if it makes a difference. And I actually won't know if it helps until I edit the video. So you'll know before I know right now. You in the future will know before I know. Anyway, let's turn those overhead lights on. And then I'll show you what they look like. So I don't know if that actually helps my lighting, but it helps my mood because this basement is really dark. This also used to be my kids' playroom before we moved all their stuff back upstairs. There's still a little play area back over there where I put them if I have to do any work on the computer. But the overhead lights add a lot of light to the room, but I don't know if it adds any light to my classroom. So this is my lighting with my MacBook Pro setup. Actually, this right here is what I've used for the last year because I like having these overhead lights on. Let's see if I can show you. Oh, that works really well. That corner up there, I've got a little spider friend that moves in every once in a while. I know it's not the same spider. But whenever we have the lesson in VIPKID about being scared or worried, I always use the spider up there. If the kid can handle it. Some kids can't handle the spiders. Okay, so this is my internal camera. I'm going to shut off all the lights and switch to my Logitech camera. Okay, so we are back. We are back to my external camera. I can sort of see the studio lights are casting shadows on the wall, so that's kind of extra shadows that I wouldn't have if I didn't have them there. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how I have those set up before I turn them on, because once I turn them on, it's just going to blind you. So here they are. Oh, there's my mess. So these are my studio lights here. I'll put a link to them down below. They're my kids' drums. I'm just going to go ahead and turn those on so that you can see how it affects the lighting. 1, 2, 3. It's the magic of video editing. So this is what it looks like with those two studio lights on. Those shadows are gone. The graininess from my MacBook Pro camera is all gone. And you can see every little imperfection in my face. Thankfully, in VIPKID, the camera picture is only about that big. With Magic Ears, it's only about that big. So you can barely see it unless you're in the one-on-one mode, and then my face takes up half the screen. And so this is just with the studio lighting on. I'm going to go ahead and turn the overhead lights on just for fun. It's really dark and dreary in here. And this is with those overhead string lights on. Again, I don't know if it actually helps the picture, but it helps my mood a lot, just because it's a softer yellow light. Let's see how it looks if I look up there. Yeah, I like those lights. And they are strung all around my basement. I don't know if you caught a glimpse of it when I was trying to not show you what a mess my basement is. So I like this camera. I like this lighting. I think that this camera would do better with a darker background. I think all of the white washes me out, and I mean, I don't need anything else to make me look more tired than I am at 1:30 in the morning. But I think the lighting really helps create a more professional image, clearer picture, and it makes me feel better. It makes me feel like I'm actually putting some extra effort into my classes. So this was my lighting setup. I'll link my camera and my studio lights down in the comments. They were really cheap. They were like $50, and it came with 3 lights. I only used 2 because I don't have enough outlets where they're plugged in for the 3rd one, and 2 seems to get the job done. So I'll link those below. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.